everybody. How are you? I hope you had a nice lunch. What did you have today? I had a cheese sandwich and it was really delicious. Well, I'm ready now to have a play with my world again. I hope you've had the chance to make your little world and that you've had fun playing with it this morning. Because this afternoon, we're going to use our worlds to make up our very own stories. And just like when you go to the library or you go maybe up into your bedroom and find yourself a good book, we are going to be making our very own story that you can tell to your grown-ups at bedtime. And it's really easy to do. So what we need first of all are just some pieces of paper, and you can ask your grown-up to fold them over. Now I've used something called a staple gun to attach mine together, but you could tie a piece of string around it, or you could punch some holes in there and thread something through, or just keep your paper folded together like this, and it will make your little book ready for you to write in. So I have had a play with my foxes and my owl, and I have made up my very own story. So I'm going to tell you mine now, and then you'll have a chance to do your own in just a few minutes. So I'm going to start with my front cover. So if I were you, I'd have a chat with your grown-ups about your story and maybe spend some time playing together and think about what could happen. Usually in a story, you have something really exciting that happens in the middle, and then it all gets sorted out at the end. That's what's going to happen in my story. This is my front cover. And on my front cover, I've put the title. So that's just telling everybody what my story is called. And my story is called The Magic Apple. And I've done a drawing on the front here. Drawings in books are called illustrations. Can you say that word? Illustration. Diane. So I am the author, I've written my story, and I'm the illustrator because I've drawn the pictures as well. And at the bottom here it says by Mrs. Roberts. And then inside I've written my story, and when you do yours, I want you to do your special writing however you want to do it. And you can draw any pictures that you like as well. And you can always ask your grown-ups to just jot down next to what you've written to help everybody to remember what it says. So you do your special writing all by yourself, and then your grown-up can just write next to it what your story's all about. Are you ready? The Magic Apple by Mrs. Roberts. Once upon a time, there lived two foxes in a little house deep in the woods. Here they are. Doo-doo-doo. To my next page. One day, a beautiful white owl was flying past when, crash, she fell down to the ground after knocking into one of the trees, and she hurt her wing. Now, luckily for the owl, the two foxes were very kind, and they came to help her. Doo-doo. They took her back to their house, doo-doo, and gave her lots of tasty food and kept her warm until her wing was better. The owl was very happy because she had been lonely for a very long time. Next page. The owl told the foxes about a magic apple that she knew was growing in the trees nearby. And the foxes told the owl that they thought they knew where it might be. And now that the owl's wing was better, the owl could fly up to the tree and see if she could fetch the magic apple down. She flew and she got the magic apple and she brought it down to the ground where she shared it with the foxes. Now this apple really was magic, and the apple meant that they could have 3 wishes. And because there were 3 creatures, 2 foxes and 1 owl, they decided they would have 1 wish each. The first fox wished that he could fly and in a puff of smoke, the fox took off into the air, soaring like a bird. The second fox wished that he could run faster than a cheetah, and in a flash, whoosh, off ran the fox, so fast you couldn't even see him go. And do you know what the owl wished for? Well, the owl was so happy to have made new friends that the owl wished to keep the special friends she had made forever. And her wish came true too. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. So that's my story that I made up all by myself. So have a think of a story you could make up and spend a bit of time doing that with your grown-ups. And then maybe at bedtime you could read it to somebody else in your family. And I bet they will love your special story. Okay? Well, have a lovely afternoon, and I will see you again tomorrow morning for our very last day of the week, and we will find out about all the things we have learnt together. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.